Hello and welcome to Destination Hong Kong. We are here in Kowloon City with Susanna, and we're going to talk about her life and her feelings about Hong Kong today. So let's get started. Let's talk first about your background and where you're from, where you're born, where you live, things like that.
I was born in Hong Kong. I'm a local. I'm a Hong Konger.
Okay, and you live where?
I live in an outer island.
Okay. And you have children?
I have a daughter.
Fur babies?
I have two really cute Chinese dogs.
Okay. Now, what do you do for work?
Well, I used to work for travel agents for quite extended time, but now I work for a supermarket and I'm in charge of the operation.
Okay, so operations manager for supermarket from tourism.
Exactly.
All right. Now, that's pretty interesting that you work in tourism in Hong Kong. I'm surprised. Not really. But the people here like to travel and a lot of people like to come here, right? So did you do mostly with Hong Kong people or with foreigners traveling?
I do both. I mean, with my extended period in travel industry, I deal with people from Hong Kong and deal with people from overseas as well.
Okay. Now, let's see. How about COVID? Has COVID affected you at all in your work, maybe, or in your social life, or in your private life?
Well, career-wise, I was lucky. I was blessed that I work in a supermarket, and because of the virus, we have very good business. People come and buy food, and we're doing very well. Social-wise, I feel that now we have limited time and opportunity to see our friends, which is a shame. Other than that, we wear masks when we go out. I remember during SARS period, I haven't actually wear a mask for a single day. But today, wearing a mask is not just protecting ourselves, but also showing respect to the whole society.
And disrupting facial recognition cameras too, that's kind of an added benefit.
That is a pain. That is a pain. But I think this is little things that we can actually compromise for a short period.
Right. Okay, so when you and I were talking earlier before we started, we were talking about the social situation in Hong Kong between maybe the CCP or the Hong Kong government, or between maybe Hong Kong people and mainland Chinese. So could you talk a bit about some of the social tension in the last, now it's been a year since June 4th, that you've noticed some changes maybe in Hong Kong that have affected you or that you've noticed?
Well, the social tensions very much coming from the limits of space in Hong Kong. People in general living in very small apartments, and with the continuous mainland Chinese coming to Hong Kong, that make the tensions tighter because we do not have enough places. And there are limited resources in terms of medication, in terms of education. There are a lot of things that we have to share with unknown numbers of people coming in year by year.
One of the things we also talked about was, some of the people in Hong Kong have been critical of the infrastructure projects. And as a foreigner, obviously, looking in on Hong Kong, not necessarily speaking Cantonese or being able to read the local newspapers or things like that, I'm given a lot of information that I don't know is true or completely 100% all the information. So when I hear that people are critical of the high-speed rail that just came in, they said, oh, you spent all this money on this high-speed rail and you built this big, beautiful house out in the island and all these things. And for me, I look at it as, well, they built a big island where all these rich people can buy houses and the government is going to make money off of all of those rich houses Versus if I'm selling houses at cheap prices to public housing, the government doesn't necessarily make more money off of that, right? They make more money off the big ticket items. So there's big ticket items for sale here, and then we have the high-speed rail to bring in that influx of mainlanders every day for their day trips, right to Canton Road, right to TST, right to their shopping center, to their opera, their cultural centers, and then they get on the train and go home at the end of the day. So what really is the opposing viewpoint to that beautiful infrastructure project as China wants to sort of make it look like?
Well, I would say no Hong Kong people will oppose the infrastructure building provided they prioritize their resources right. What happened is the government that we have today didn't prioritize it correctly in my personal view. There are many other things that they could have put the resources to resolve the problem before they build anything to attract the mainland Chinese to be here. So I personally agree with any new changes, provided you do it in a proper order.
Right. So back to what you were saying, that's more in line with what you were saying earlier is, there's 1.3 billion Chinese people in China. There's 7 million Hong Kong people here. We live in 400 square foot houses. And 50% of our land is designated to parks to remain eco-friendly as a city. Mm-hmm. So we can't designate any more land to like infrastructure or housing or things like that. We have limited resources in terms of land and space and things like that. And then you have all these people that want to come over the border to this wealthy country and have babies and have our infrastructure and things like that. All those resources. And then you have some people that are taking advantage of it. If they were you were saying earlier to me in private that if there were wealthy Chinese coming over here, staying at the Ritz-Carlton, spending money at Canton Road, you wouldn't have a problem necessarily. But a lot of them are the day traders that come over in the black market. I've been to Shui and these places near the border where it's just like you go there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it looks like a bomb went off. Looks like there was a riot because of all the trash they leave on the street. And the infrastructure people have to clean that up and have to deal with that. And I mean, if that's every day, you're having all this excess trash, right? So is there other things that are not necessarily tangible, like medical and schools and housing and things like that? Are there other ways that the influx of people may be affecting your situation in Hong Kong?
I think the major problem is space. We don't have any space. We only have very limited space. Space is a major problem. So it creates a lot of tension. You don't want to walk on the street and shoulder to shoulder at all time. And the other thing is job opportunity. There are people unemployed, and we don't want to lower our minimum hours rate. There are many other things that could have been more considerable before they bring in the people.
Right.
And
underemployed, that's a very good way to put it, because a lot of people in Hong Kong are employed, but they're very underemployed. And that's a very intangible thing when it comes to looking at hard numbers. Are the employment numbers look good, but actually are they underemployed, especially when the housing prices are inflated because there's so many people that are trying to get houses and things. So let's try to close this up a little bit. Let's say, would you, now having talked about Hong Kong, let's talk about other places. If you were to immigrate or emigrate outside of Hong Kong, where would you go, and would you actually move there?
Well, my dream place is actually New Zealand.
Okay.
I really, really love it. If I could have choose any places in the world, I would probably go to New Zealand. But at this stage, I have no plan to move away. I was raised here. I have contributed, and I feel that I have to do every single possible effort to put into helping Hong Kong. On the other hand, I just feel that the Hong Kong youngsters need us to be here to support them. We have to give them all the support we have in terms of mentally, financially, physically, to help them.
It's the next generation's turn, and they need to take the reins, and when they need our help.
Yes, definitely.
I agree with you. So from Hong Kong, is there anything you would like to say to the rest of the world?
Well, we are Hong Konger. We can make changes. Our future is on our hands. We can fight for whatever we want to and take it or leave it. And it is important for us to don't give up and don't let go easily.
Okay. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you again soon. And maybe we'll be back with Susanna soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.